Hello, my name is Norris Wright, and my cafe partners were Griffin Carell and Saeed. Our cafe name was Capital Cafe, and in this presentation I'll be showing and interpreting 3 comparative graphs that analyze our business's performance over a 13-week period against 12 other cafes. Our cafe started out 10th place and ended up 4th, so these graphs will explain that story. First graph we have is net income versus revenue. And revenue is the gross amount of money that the company brings in, and net income is the revenue minus the expenses that our company has to pay out. Those expenses being things like bills, taxes, wages we had to pay to our employees, and so on. Now, what's very interesting is for the first 3 weeks, you'll see that our net income was actually negative. And that is because we didn't know what to expect for the simulation. Most of the industry actually had the exact same trend, and it's because we're very new to this. But what our company did was different from the rest. After our first week, when we realized we really didn't know what we were doing, we copied the #1 cafe until we got to the 3rd week, where after we got our results, we realized there was 5 key concepts that we had to understand if we wanted to grow our business and grow our net income. Those 5 concepts were brand awareness, price range of the coffee, quality of the coffee, quality and amount of employees we hired, and the hours that we were open. We saw for the first 3 weeks that the more we increased our hours, the more customers were coming in and the more money we were making. So we decided, let's maximize our hours and maximize our money. After that, we realized branding, we really want everybody on campus to know our name, so spend the most money we can on branding. Advertisements like 10 radio spots a day, flyers, special cases where we get people who play music to come in and make the ambience even better than it already was. Our branding was actually very high amongst the rest of the industry. We were always in the top 3 after the first week. Now, for our coffee, the quality of coffee we had was organic because we saw the #1 through 3 cafes were all selling organic coffee and making the most money. And the price range of the coffee was $4 to $5 because every cafe in the $4 to $5 range was making more money than any cafe in the $5 to $6 range and in the $3 to $4 range. So we also went to the $4 to $5 range, but changed our prices to be a little bit cheaper than the top few cafes because we realized that if we want to sell more cups than them, we have to give customers a reason. So why don't we give the same quality of coffee with a little bit cheaper of a price, because customers will always be coming to us. And as you can see, it worked out very well because we went from negative net income with positive revenue to making 30% net income, or our net income became 30% of our revenue. The next graph we have coming up is revenue versus cups sold, where you see the same trend except that our cups sold, although it was very low in the beginning, made a huge jump going on for the next several weeks. And that's because, like I said, we were copying the #1 companies, and we figured out the 5 concepts that we needed to grow our company even more. So our revenue made the same trend, went higher and higher until it was at a linear rate, I would say. Now, lastly, we have our competitor sales. Well, you'll see the #1 Big Mama Beanery, which was #1 in the industry, against our other competitors. But these 3 competitors were all lower than us because in score, they were higher in revenue, La Luna was, but these 3 in general were all lower in score because they didn't adhere to the 5 qualities that we showed. And lastly, you'll see the dashboard tells the same story. We started out low, and then we started copying the top. Got to the 3rd week, and we were rising. And as we kept going on, we kept getting higher until we ended up placing 4th. And that's the story and information behind it on how our cafe went from 10th to 4th.